Well, thank you very much. I'm really honored and humbled to accept this award tonight. It's the biggest thing, the most important award that I've ever received, and it's especially important coming from CSEP. When you think of my career, you can almost think of it like a bimodal distribution. I had some promise when I was younger. I started off, and I actually skipped grade 2. They put me right from grade 1 to grade 3. So, they were thinking big things for me at that time. I followed that up with getting the highest marks in grade 4. And I was the spelling champion in grade 5. That was 1967. And then I went through a drought. I went 48 years until today. And I finally got another award. So it's been a long drought, and when you think of it, 1967 to now, it kind of parallels the Toronto Maple Leafs, doesn't it? Except the Toronto Maple Leafs, this is my Stanley Cup, and I doubt that they're going to win one this year. So I'm very honored to accept this award. I told my family about it, of course, and it's funny the things that come out. So my daughter says to me, she says, "Well, is this award like winning a Nobel Prize?" And of course, I said to her, "No, it's not like a Nobel Prize." I said, "It's better. It's from CSEP." And then she said to me, she says, "Well, does this mean that you're the best exercise physiologist in all of Canada?" And well, you can't lie to your daughter. So I said, "Of course I am." But once your head starts getting a little big, there's always somebody who's going to bring you back down. So my daughter was talking to her friends, and they had this discussion about being famous. And so my daughter was a bit proud of me. She says, "Well, my dad is a little bit famous in the area of kinesiology." And one of her classmates, of course, has to knock her down. She says, "No, he isn't." She said, "Barack Obama doesn't know who he is." And I guess she's right, because I don't think Barack Obama is all that that cognizant of the applied neuromuscular physiological literature. So yes, Barack Obama doesn't know me very well. But we all know that an award like this, it's not an individual award; it's a team award, and you can't get anywhere without a team. And the first person I'd like to thank. Actually, you might think it's kind of weird because he's not directly on my team. He was on my team 43 years ago. And I'd like to thank Dr. David Hood, because David Hood nominated me for this award. And we played for the Ottawa West Golden Knights back 43 years ago. Now, of course, we were only 2 years old at the time. Well, actually, we were 15 years old at the time, and Dave was a very smooth skating forward. And I was, as you can probably guess, was kind of the muscle on the team. So it was my job to go in the corner, knock the guy down, take the puck, and pass it to the talented forwards like Dave, so they could score. But a teammate is always a teammate. And Dave won this award 5 years ago, and I guess he had to do a lot of work in the corners to get me this one, so he passed it back to me this time. So thank you very much, David. I really appreciate it. So if we continue with that kind of team analogy, of course, if you got a good team, you got to have a great coach. And in the academic world, the great coach is your mentor or your supervisor. And I was lucky enough to be here. I was a student I started my graduate career here at McMaster, and I had Dr. Digby Sale as my mentor and supervisor, and I was lucky enough Dr. Digby Sale. So Digby, of course, as we know, is an icon in the area of exercise physiology, and especially in the area of applied exercise physiology. And it didn't take me long, because I'm the kind of guy who likes to try and aim high. I never reach it, but if you aim high, even if you get lower than that, you still do pretty good. So my aim, it didn't take me long to realize that if I could aim to get somewhere close to the respect and the recognition and the professionalism that Dr. Digby Sale had, that I'd be doing pretty good. And I certainly haven't made to that point, but I was aiming for that. And with Digby's career, it's incredible. I was reviewing a paper last month, and a citation, Sale, 1988, neuromuscular adaptations with resistance training. 27 years later, they're still talking about Digby Sale. Last week I reviewed a paper, Digby Sale, 1990, potentiation, muscle potentiation. 25 years later, still the same recognition. And he keeps on making the bar higher, so I'm trying to catch up to him, but the bar keeps on moving. So he's been retired for a few years, and what does he do? He goes and writes a book. So he and Duncan McDougall have written a book on high performance training. And he was saying to me the other day that's really doing well, especially in Europe and the UK. He says it's doing so well that he might even be able to buy a new pair of winter tires for his Toyota. So what I'd like to do is, I'd like to give a hand, a round of applause to Digby, but I'd also like to give a hand to all the mentors in this room. And if you're a graduate student or you were a graduate student, let's give a hand for Digby and all the mentors and supervisors. So, of course, if we continue with the team analogy, you can't have a team without the players. And we know that you can't have science in Canada without your grad students. And it's the grad students who carry the workload for us. And at Memorial University, we're a smaller university. We don't have a PhD program, but we've had a lot of dedicated and talented graduate students. And so they've gone on to bigger and better things. Like in the audience tonight, we have Kevin Power, who was one of my grad students. So people like Kevin Power and Dwayne Button, who's not here tonight, went off to Winnipeg, got their PhDs, came back, became faculty members at Memorial, and now they're mentoring me. So they came back and they're teaching me about techniques and corticospinal excitability. We've got Greg Piercy here, although I didn't supervise him, but again, Greg Piercy is from our program as well. Jeffrey Power, again, I didn't supervise him, we worked together. Now he's got a job at Guelph University. So the names go on forever and ever. We've got lots of different people coming from Newfoundland, and we're very proud that it's a very strong program, and that we got lots of strong people coming from Atlantic Canada. So I'd like to give a round of applause for the graduate students this time. Now you're probably saying, when's he going to get off the mic? Well, it's very soon. All right. So the last thing I'd like to say is that, especially in my case, that this is not an award for brilliance or intellect. All right. Perhaps in the case, well, not perhaps, but definitely in the case of David Hood or other big names like Tarnopolsky. Well, it's got 11 letters, so it's a very good name. Behm only being 4. But in my case, this is an award for persistence. Persistence and passion for what we're doing. And how I'd like to finish off is that, I've never really had the courage to say this, but often I'll be working on Saturday morning or Sunday morning or in the evening, and my wife will say to me, she says, nobody's ever going to thank you for all that extra work that you've done. And honey, I've got to say this tonight, but I love you. But I've never had the courage to say this, and maybe it's foolish, but you were wrong.